2026. Now we'll be beginning the last panel discussion of OTM Forum for this year. And the topic is Inside India's Travel Trade. What's changed, what's working, and what's next? And to take it away, I would like to call upon the stage all the esteemed panelists, Mr. Hussain Patel, founder TripJack, Mr. Jitesh Pujari, Vice President Business Akbar Online Booking Company, Mr. Rishabh Doshi, Managing Director Classic Holidays, and Mr. Salil Nath, Founder and CEO Travesla. All right. I'm audible. Yes. So, welcome firstly on the panel, and we can go ahead with a little introduction of each of you. We'll take the rounds, and then I'll be starting with the first question. Mr. Salil, we can start with you.
Check. Sure. Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Salil Nath. I'm the founder and CEO of Travesla. Travesla is a representation company. We are an airline GSA. So currently we're the GSA of Han Air in India, and soon we'll be acquiring more airlines. And we also are resellers of travel technology brands in India. Prior to this, for the last 12 years, I was heading Etihad Airways for South Asia. And 1.5 years ago, I left and started Travesla as my entrepreneurial venture. So look forward to an engaging discussion right now. Thank you.
Definitely. Mr. Rishabh?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rishabh Doshi. I'm the managing director at Classic Holidays and TripMax. Classic Holidays is a 29-year-old offline B2B company dealing with hotels pan-India. And TripMax is our online portal where we obviously offer hotels across the globe. Thank you so much.
Sir.
Hi, this is Jitesh from Akbar Travels, working with Akbar Online, the tech division of Akbar Travels, where we are one of the largest and oldest B2B of India. Globally, we are present, and I think a lot of technology-driven products which we are looking into it. Hope for a great discussion now. I think we have a lot of responsibility now. It's been the last discussion, so it should be the best one. So, thank you.
Hi, this is Hussain Patel. I'm the founder of TripJack. We are a technology company in the business of travel and distribution, one of the largest B2B travel companies in India, curating content for flights, hotels, insurance, and various other services.
All right, so I'll start with my first question. We all know that the travel ecosystem has been changing really, really fast. So, what's that one noticeable change that you've seen over the last few years in the Indian travel trade? We'll start with you, sir, Mr. Hussain.
I think what's really changed is the talent that the trade has been able to attract in the last couple of years, especially post-COVID. You see a lot of people who've started, taking travel very seriously, and we see people coming from all across industries like FMCG. We see people from consulting, and I think that's really helpful overall. That's something which I really appreciate because in the travel ecosystem, we have a lot of experts within the community, but from an outsider lens, we get a lot of intelligence of what's really working in other industries, and that's what I think is a massive change which I've noticed in the last couple of years.
Would you agree, sir?
Yeah, it was right. The other thing, what I have seen, like we have been seeing this thing earlier in Indian travel, it was people were only focusing on to flights. Okay, travel agents were focusing only single product and all that. But now it has completely changed. The customer demands, like, if it's a kind of one-stop shop. People want complete package. It's not dependent only on one product. Like post-COVID, we have seen that the products like insurance, the product like hotels and all that. And I think the big B2B players like us also, where we were predominantly focusing on to flights, now it has been completely, you need a bucket of services which you have to service, and the passengers also demand that. So that is one thing which is changing and which is good for the industry also, that we are not dependent only on one product. It is like you are the travel agent has to do everything. He's saying that let's be one-stop shop.
For sure. Mr. Rishabh.
I think we would like to see this in two different eras. I think we have to see it pre-COVID and post-COVID. I think things have become more aggressive post-COVID. Uh, Clients probably have become a little more impatient after COVID because with the help of technology I think they have more information, a faster access to information on their hands right now than I would say pre-COVID. Obviously, with the help of the new kid on the block, that's AI. That's everyone's talking about Chat GPT, Perplexity, etc., etc. So I think the buying power also, I would say, if I mean we are predominantly from India, right? So we cater to travel agents from India. I think what also has changed is the buying patterns and the buying powers and buying centers, in fact, from India. I think it's gone way beyond metros now. We're looking at tier one, tier two, and even tier three cities giving equal numbers than as actually what metros were giving earlier.
For sure, interesting. Mr. Salil, what's your takeaway?
So I come from the aviation side, so my comments are on that side of the business. I think one big change that we've seen in the last 6 7 years is the reduced dependency on GDS to distribute. Right? If you look at the numbers about 7 to 8 years ago, for large airlines or international airlines, about 80 85% of the business would come from GDS. I was talking to a large Middle Eastern carrier 2 days ago, and guess what that number has dropped to? 12%. 12% business comes from GDS. Everything else is either direct or NDC, okay, or APIs, direct APIs. So that is a huge change. Last decade, if anyone would have asked us that, do you think in the next 1 decade GDS is going away? We would have said no way, because that's the way it's been for the last 50 years. But that's a big change that we wouldn't have seen coming, and I think it has a lot of ramifications.
So my next question I'll ask you, Mr. Hussain. Mr. Rishabh said that in with respect to travelers, they have become a little more impatient post-COVID. So what do you think, how have end traveler expectations evolved throughout these years, recent years?
Yeah, I think Zishab is absolutely correct. There's a lot of impatience that people have is because of the knowledge that people consume from various different platforms. They're already aware about the destination before they have actually gone to that destination, and you've probably seen that destination through YouTube, through Instagram, and through basically friends who've already traveled to those destinations. So they're certainly aware, more aware, and because of which they expect agencies like us and customers who we service as well to be having that knowledge. They need to be aware about the problem statement, the expectation that particular customer has, and to be able to go beyond that. I mean, he's already aware. How do you top that up? So I think it's very, very critical that how we service customers of tomorrow, and the expectations are being met.
So any suggestions on how we can do that, how we can make that better?
I think there's so much to learn from different platforms available within the community, right? I mean, there are so many DMC partners available here, and even at the OTM. Just constantly engaging with the right partner and to be able to go in depth, getting knowledge about that particular destination. And what I've personally noticed is that every travel company has experts sitting in various different departments. It's very compartmentalized, right? You've got a flights expert, insurance expert, visa expert, and a hotel expert. People don't have cross functional knowledge. It's very important that everyone's on the same page, and it can happen by constant interventions between those travel companies and consultants of each department. And the sharing of knowledge is extremely critical, because if a customer walks into a travel agency, he expects to get one answer from one person. He doesn't, yeah, exactly. So he wants all the answers from one person, and that can only happen through knowledge, and which is available. I mean, you just need to work hard to get that knowledge. Yeah.
Mr. Jitesh, what I would ask you is, in what ways has the role of travel agents and platforms shifted particularly? We are talking about post-COVID and pre-COVID era. How do you think the role has changed for travel agents particularly?
Yeah, for travel agents, it is more of, I think, there is so much of technology available. I think if you'll see you can say 10 15 years back, it was completely offline and all those stuff. Rightly said, it was basically people were actually creating their PNRs, sending email and all that. Now today it has completely gone. If it is on GDS also, you have technology, we have import PNRs and all that, where people can get it issued directly. And I think it is more of technology driven. And I think rightly said by Hussein also, there is so much of information available everywhere. So it is basically for a travel agent, it is like today he can deliver everything on a go. So he don't have to actually, earlier if you have seen, like there were companies like if you are sending a quotation also, it will take 2 days and all those stuff. Now it is instant, they can straight away give the all the details, it is available everywhere. So this change is really going ahead, and then it is basically the technology is supporting this travel agents to take it to next level.
Absolutely. Mr. Rishabh, we've been speaking about technology and AI, I mean, buzzword right now at this point of time. So, people had been saying for, I think, a long time now that technology, AI will disrupt travel agents. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, how is the ecosystem shaping up for the travel agents when it comes to AI and technology?
I have been a very big believer that technology, AI will always disrupt processes. They'll never disrupt relationships. Okay, and because our industry runs very very high on person to person relationships. I mean, let's see. I mean, let's take a very very recent example. You know, on the 5th or the 6th of December, we saw what happened with Indigo. I mean, the whole country was in turmoil. Okay, just because of one airline. And who came to your help? It was your local travel agent. Okay, I mean, I'm sure Hussein Bhai will agree with me. His guys would have been working overtime on that night, on that day. So I really don't think technology, yes, will enhance the way you work. Okay, but it will not take over the role or a job of a travel agent.
Irreplaceable, basically. Mr. Salil, so in markets like the US, where, for example, Fairfest has recently acquired WT Miami, there's growing evidence that younger generation, Gen Z specifically, they are relying more on travel agents to book their trips at this point of time. You can call it, trying to just get a shortcut that, you just contact a person and then that person will plan the whole trip for you. Do you think that this is a growing trend and is this global at this point of time?
Yes, it is because the unfortunate part from the airline side is that from a marketing standpoint, the airline is missing out on the end-to-end journey and focusing only on the flight. So till they don't change that, the passenger and the digital savvy passenger will come to the travel agent. But the second side of that is that I've always said that you have to be where the customer is. Okay. And with Gen Z, Gen Alpha coming now, these guys are on Instagram more than WhatsApp also now. So, 5 years ago, you used to say you have to be WhatsApp integrated and all that. Now all their chats and everything all calls are happening on Instagram. So if as a whoever you are, if you're an airline, you're a travel agent, you're a content creator, whoever it is that's inspiring or guiding the passenger, if you're not where the passenger is, then you'll lose out. And vice versa, even if you're an airline and you're appealing well on that medium, then you will stand to gain. So that's the second side of it.
For sure. I mean, all the
I need to just add to it. So I was just going through some data. So it is basically in US for this Gen Zs, there is a new term which is the analog experience. So where it is basically this Gen Zs are moving away from back from technology. They have been bombarded with this. They're spending 8 hours, 10 hours onto the screen and all. It's too much. So where it is now, they're moving back to, like they want those experience and
little
all those
slower
stuff. Yeah,
life.
little slower
Yes.
life. They are moving to the normal phones and all those stuff. So which is again, they are coming back to the travel agents
I
where they
can
want.
vouch for that
Yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. Right. So it is basically they want to do it. Yeah, just a minute.
I'd like to add something to everyone. A point which is very, very critical is that booking travel is genuinely not easy. Like if I'm booking travel for myself, I find it to be very time consuming. I feel like, there's so much of research, there's so much of intelligence that goes into doing that. And I think for productive people, hopefully, it should be that, you have somebody else doing it for you. And, time is of great essence to everyone today. And everyone's actually annoyed with so much screen time that they feel like, "Arey yaar, let me just speak to somebody and help him, do it for me." So it's just, I think, time efficiency to be able to give it to somebody else who's an expert who already knows what's good at that particular destination, and just come back to me with three options at the max, and this is what you need. And I think a lot of personalization is something which is relevant, which we can probably talk about later as well. I think time is something which is getting saved a lot by working with travel agencies. That's what I think.
For sure. So it's definitely a global trend at this point of time. Gen Z is trying to give the, I think, reins to the travel agents back again, that, we do not have to handle everything. आप please करके हमारी trip book करके दे दीजिए.
For Hussein, he will say that, okay, I'll look at $1 million of sale rather than spending 1 hour on it.
For sure. Um, so technology, of course, we are talking about it, we are discussing it. It's at the forefront of the industry right now. If we talk about day-to-day operations, specifically with travel trade, how has technology, gotten into the day-to-day operations of the travel agent at this point of time? Yes, sir.
I think people have been making use of technology, and I think a lot of invoicing, a lot of payment collections. There is a lot of technology available for people to consume, but if someone is not consuming, I think it's high time that we should start consuming, because it's very important to be aligned to the customer's requirements, and some tech basically to be able to tell them that last year this family traveled in the month of June, they travel with a family of four and with two kids, and this is what their annual spend trip budget is. If you're aware about these things, then it just gives a very personalized approach to that particular customer, which naturally gives him a lot of inclination to work towards that particular company. The other thing is that the fact of the matter is that today, in travel agencies, we are loyal to a agency staff rather than working with an agency owner as well, or that particular agency, and the switching happens because of that relationship. I think a lot of travel agencies should focus on customizing some platform for themselves, to be able to see data which is standardized. So if a traveler is calling and anyone picks up in that particular company, he knows what his buying behavior is like, he knows what his preference is, he knows what kind of budget he requires.
Personalization, what you were
Personalization.
talking about,
So
yeah.
some technology which was going to help travel agencies personalize their offerings is extremely, I think, helpful, which is going to not only help them retain their customers in their company, also be able to give them the trust, and then probably the reference also starts happening. It's like, my travel company does this for me, they understand me extremely well. So it becomes a point for you to attract more customers also, I feel. So technology can be used in multiple ways for your processes, but it can also be used to give offerings to your customers in the right manner that they expect.
Ensure customer
Yeah,
loyalty also, in a way, for sure,
exactly.
for sure.
Yeah.
Mr. Jitesh, we are talking about AI right now, and Mr. Hussain was talking about personalization through all these tools that we have through technology. Do you think that AI is like a feature or a tool that can be used on existing platforms like yours, or it's a newly created product? For example, there would be more companies specifically creating travel products, AI products, and disrupting the industry. Do you think that existing companies would be creating it in house, the AI tools, or would you be willing to take it from a third party, basically?
Yeah. So basically, AI is something. It is a classic example I can give you. It was so difficult for creating an itinerary and all those stuff. The one thing which has opened up, like for us, the companies who have been working so long, the biggest issue was to get talent, okay, who have to be specifically from the travel industry. But now it is simple, like you can get anyone from, okay, from any of the platforms, they can come, because you have such kind of platforms built through AI which can actually give suggestions and all those stuff. And I think already a lot of companies, like for us also, we have already developed a lot of things on AI, which has been rather than outsourcing also, it purely depends on your intention, that what kind of investment you want to do it. But the large scale companies, the big OTAs had already have adapted the AI. I think when it comes to our platform also, we have seen a lot of things have been generated by AI. So we have done this auto calling, you can say the chat GPT, where we have used your 80% of your work has been done by AI. And then if there is some modification or you require an human touch, then it lands it to the humans, okay, the people, okay, which is very important again. But again, the kind of demand where we are in India, specifically the way we are growing, I think every year it is like in X numbers we are growing. To support that, with people, it's very important you have to bring in technology. So it's very important you have to bring AI, or else it would be very difficult for us to support that demand. So this,
Manually handle
yeah,
everything.
it's very difficult. So this kind of technology will really help us to support the kind of demand, like, and simple for Gen Zs, like for you also, it is basically you will be saying that every 3 months, every month I have to travel. Okay, so the kind of demand is there. So this technology will really help to suffice that demand and to be provide those things to the requirement as per requirement. So it's pretty simple. AI is very important.
Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
like to add to that. I think uh, the day we start looking at technology in terms of AI or anything else as a friend and not as something to be scared of, the day we change that mindset, I think we can do wonderful things. Okay, number one. And secondly, AI will not really take away jobs, but I think it will make your job easier. Okay, because it'll take away those cumbersome processes in your companies, something that is so repetitive that it need not require a human to do it on a daily basis. I think that is what it will replace.
Automation, basically.
Automation, yes.
Yeah. Uh, so my next question is, what exactly is working well for the Indian travel trade at this point of day?
Uh, I think for if I talk about travel in India, number of hotels that are increasing every single day. I mean, I've always cracked this joke with many other hotels, especially Taj. If you open your LinkedIn, and you'll always see the same Taj guy on the left, but the person on the right keeps changing because they are acquiring more hotels on a daily basis. So I think there are more options. These hotels are now being added in tier 2, tier 3 cities, where earlier maybe we did not have that many options to sell. Buying power, as I said earlier, has increased from tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 cities. And I think even international brands now are looking towards India much more than what they were looking, I would say, 4 to 5 years ago. So I think it's an amalgamation of all these factors that is really giving domestic tourism a great boost as of now.
All right. Mr. Salil, I would like to ask you, how is travel trade in India different from other countries? What makes Indian travel trade unique if we look at it globally?
Um, I think it's the resilience, okay? Because the Indian travel trade has gone through so much, whether it is geopolitical uncertainty, whether it was COVID, the way we managed during COVID, and one would have thought that agents would shut down, but it turned out to be one of the most profitable times for agents to make money. So it is the resilience, and it is because of something unique to India, what we call jugaad, right? And we find very creative ways to solve problems. I mean, without taking names, I was sitting with one of the consolidators, and they were telling me their growth is coming from tier 3 and tier 4 markets, like really the hinterland, and people there wanted to pay in cash. Now, typically, if you go to a very compliant market like the US or something, they would turn away that opportunity, saying, "Come on card or get lost," right? But here, what did they do? They launched another offshoot of their company, which is a fintech company, which actually goes and collects cash from those hinterlands and gets it deposited in the bank and does all the compliance norms as per the because Indian regulation is not easy for us to do business. Our ease of doing business is not really the best in the world, right? Despite that, this jugaad is what makes us resilient and continues to scale. We've seen now for the last 20 years how the Indian travel trade is scaling. We are now growing at 8 to 10% CAGR for the last decade, barring COVID. So this is what makes us unique. And you asked what will change. I think in the near term, which is already happening, and we'll continue to see it happening in the next few years, is the diversification of supply. Because, like I mentioned earlier, we're moving away from GDS, which means everything becomes direct, everything becomes a marketplace model, and you'd no longer go to just one holy grail of supply, but you have 10 different types of supply. And in the long term, what will change is something very different, because now buying travel inside of AI tools has already started, and that will continue to grow because that's like your assistant who you can chat with and buy travel. Booking.com already sells their content inside of ChatGPT. You can book hotels inside ChatGPT now. So this is just the start, and I think in the long term, there's going to be a big wave moving towards that side.
I mean, if you want to get anything done, you just need to get an Indian.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would like to add to something which Rishabh mentioned. I think he covered from a hospitality point of view. From an aviation perspective, from a flights perspective in India, what's working and what's happening next is that today we've got probably 700 aircrafts in the Indian diaspora, right, of travel. In the next couple of years, with the kind of orders that Air India, Indigo, CASA have already placed, I think we are going to double capacity in the next 7 to 8 years, with some replacements also happening. I think some retention also happening of the number of aircrafts. I think the opportunity is straight away there for us to see, right? In the next 8 years, we are seeing the capacity double, as well as, obviously the travelers will increase in proportion to that. And in spite of all of this, we are still far away from the market size that exists today in America. For example, they have 12,000 aircrafts. China has 4,000 aircrafts. India has 700 aircrafts going up to 1,400. So 1,400 is a no-brainer. I think it should happen. The orders are already in place. The population is on our side, so hopefully it should get executed. Other thing is about the investments that the government is also making in terms of making capacity, in terms of making airports. There are some 400 odd airports which are going to be getting built. Navi Mumbai airport is now operational. Noida will also be operational. That itself is going to give us at least 10 to 15% bump in the overall capacity in the Indian travel trade. So initiatives like this itself is saying that the writing is on the wall, that in the next 8 years the market is going to double. Whoever exists in this market and is waiting to play the long-term game, who's playing a test match, not a T20 game, will all benefit from this movement. So hopefully, let's see what's going to happen. But I'm very positive about the trade in the next couple of years.
On a lighter note, when you mentioned resilience, okay, and if you want to see resilience of travel trade, please go up on the third floor today. Everyone is still there. Okay, you don't see that in an international
Three
travel show.
busy
Yeah,
days.
it's
It's
still busy, right? On
non-stop
the
at the
last
domestic
day,
pavilion.
everyone's come down. This room is almost full, and so I mean that is the resilience that we have, and I think it's also mixed with hope that tomorrow will be a better day.
Rightly said. Just to add to it, so I was just going through some numbers. So I'm saying still in India with this kind of population, we have only 4 to 5% of people would be having passports. Okay, only 4 to 5%. And then when it is basically you're talking about when it comes to people traveling by flights also it is around 10 to 11 percentage. If there is only a shift of 2% also, our infrastructure we are getting ready, still not ready. 2% is a big thing. So we are into the right age, you can say, into the right place where travel is going to grow and everyone is traveling and all those stuff. The kind of investment, like I have seen, like people are actually moving out from flights, they are going into trains and all that, road transports and all those stuff. People want to do those all things. So basically the kind of numbers is at our side. Basically it's just the shift which is happening, and that's why every year it is growing for us.
Best time to be a part of the travel industry.
Right.
Yeah. Um, so we are talking about, how optimistic it is to be in the travel trade right now at this point. Um, I would ask you, Mr. Jitesh, what are the opportunities that you see specifically looking at the Indian travel trade in the near future or far future also, honestly?
The again the biggest opportunity for travel is you're talking about 140 150 crore of the population what you have and everyone to travel. And second thing what I have seen it is like people, like the generation what we are now into, they want to actually explore, they want experience, it is basically. And because of technology it is very easy, it is basically you can actually do a lot of research because of technology. And today being into the trade where I feel that the kind of investment, and I think thumbs up to the government also what they are investing a lot into it. And with this kind of technology, the support of government, travel is going to grow. And I think it was in a lighter note, a lot of people they say roti kapda makan, it was earlier. Now it is now for Gen Z's it is they say that nahi yaar, travel roti kapda makan to ho chuka hai, mera to important travel hai. It is like that way for them it is.
And if you're talking about tier two, tier three cities, Mr. Rishabh, um, how can the Indian travel industry make sure that people from the tier two, tier three cities get to travel even more? How can Indian travel trade contribute to that?
See, I think that's already happening as we see. Okay, I'm not. I don't really have the numbers, but if we could have the uh, check-in systems of all the hotels of guests traveling to, to either to an Udaipur or a Jaipur or even a Bombay or Pune, you'll see that most of these travelers, obviously they are traveling from Delhi, Bombay, Kolkata, Bangalore, but there has been a very distinct shift in the number of people traveling from tier 2 and tier 3 cities. So I think uh, the opportunities, as you mentioned in the previous question also, are quite amazing in the near future. All we need to do is obviously number one, have the infra to support that. Okay, I think we are lagging behind a little bit on that. Opportunities in terms of inbound travel, I think we are nowhere absolutely when we compare ourselves to our neighbors. If you compare to a UAE or to a Vietnam or to, I mean, look at Vietnam, it just exploded after COVID, right? Everyone you saw on your feed on Instagram was in at least one city of Vietnam. So I think that is something where we've not even scratched the surface. And India has everything to offer. I mean, we have beaches, we have cities, we have deserts, sorry, and deserts, both, sorry, deserts and deserts. Uh, so the opportunities I think are much more there. We can shoot higher in those areas of travel for India, at least for now.
And Mr. Salil, sort of follow-up question: how can Indian travel trade themselves prepare better for this? To contribute better to the travel ecosystem. How can they prepare themselves?
Um, I think one thing which I've been saying for quite some time now, so when we say prepare better, everyone keeps complaining that there aren't enough margins, to earn and all of that. But if you see on the flip side what is being done to address that, there is very little. So that's something I want to touch upon. I think the solution is to make ancillaries a part of your day-to-day business. Okay, even today, because my company does a lot of on the ancillary side, I see that ancillaries is like an if I can use the term, it's like an orphan in the industry. Nobody owns it. Everyone wants to sell it, but nobody owns it, right? So to make ancillaries a part of mainstream day-to-day business, like just like the way if a travel agent launches a business travel division, they would form a proper division. You would hire people, you would put infrastructure, you would get technology, all of that. That doesn't exist for ancillaries today. Whereas everyone acknowledges the fact that it is high margin, okay, contributes directly to bottom line, enhances passenger experience. But what is being done to make it part of the business, nobody talks about. So that's where, thankfully, we are trying to drive some change with both Akbar and Ripjack on, on the ancillary side, because that I think will improve profitability for the trade overall. One more thing which can be done, if I look at it from the supplier side, from the airline side, is airlines actually in the long term reward agents who actually add value to them. Okay, not just having conversations about PLB, discounts, commissions, all of that, but actually solving problems for your partner also. In the long run, if you're solving an airline's problem, you will see more money coming your way. I've been on that side of the table and written checks for agents, and that has been part of the mind. Okay, uh, everyone has technology now, which means everyone is able to report data better, share more intelligent insights which the airline is not able to see because they are only ticketing their stuff. So even sharing data insights is of great value to uh, to an airline. Okay, and if you look at it from the customer side, what can be done better? I think concentrating more on each touch point of the journey of the passenger, because still I see a lot of travel agents only talking hotel flights, hotel flights, hotel flights, that's it. But the real opportunity going forward lies in contributing to every touch point of the passenger journey, because he's paying somebody. Okay, so how can you tap into that service rather than him doing it himself, is from the customer side, I think, a great opportunity going forward.
And thank you, sir. Talking about technology and talking about the question that I just asked Mr. Stalil, how to how can travel trade better themselves? Are there any sort of trainings that could be maybe happening in your organizations wherein you are making your employees better equipped to handle the current technology and AI, which is ever evolving? Mr. Hussain?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we already touched upon this briefly. Is that people need to educate themselves, and for that to happen, you need to have the right forums, interventions within your organization, talk to other peers, gain that knowledge, and transform that knowledge into communicating that knowledge to the right audience. And one thing which I really liked what Salil mentioned and quite openly is that today in the B2B business we don't sell ancillaries as much as we should be. I think there's a lack of training possibly over there as well. I think the first thing I would start off is by doing this is that, and it's not easy, right? I mean, if you are sitting on a call and you're talking to a customer, it's genuinely difficult to say which seat do you like, which meal do you like, what's your frequent flyer number, do you like a transfer, do you like an insurance, do you like a cab service. There's so much to sell that intuitively it is not possible for a consumer to hear it rather than see it. Hence the attachment rate on B2C websites is genuinely higher of ancillary than on even B2B platforms like us. We probably done a good job in the last couple of years, but there's a huge thing to still uncover, right? There's definitely a gap, and how can that happen is probably use of some technology, uh, and we are building something for that. So we are helping our trial partners reach out to consumers at the right point of time, because a consumer is also in sitting in a frame of mind where he doesn't want to spend everything in one go, but closer to departure, okay, I'm going to buy insurance, all right, just add this, maybe add $500 more. So there are these behavior patterns that we understand as consumers and as users ourselves. I feel like the right use of technology is extremely important to cross sell, and training on technology is also very very critical, right? Everyone's not on the same page. My colleague in my office might not use an iPhone the way I use an Android or an iPhone, right? So everyone needs education, and education can only happen through collaboration. It's very critical that all of us very openly accept what our weaknesses are and try to mitigate that gap rather than just going along the way and just saying okay, let it go, let it go, let it go. Accept it and understand it from whoever's that expert within the room, and clarify that. That's what I think.
Learning all the
Can I make
time.
a point which is slightly converse to what Hussein said, but also in line with the technology part, what he said? So AI will actually reduce the need for training, and that's already happening. Okay, we are about to partner with a company, a US brand, and try to bring them to India, where while your consultant is on the call, the AI is listening to the call. Okay, so the need for specialization and training and costs of training and time taken for onboarding a new employee, all of that will get reduced because the AI is already trained, the model is trained on your data and your systems and all of your products. And uh, if the customer asks that what is the cancellation penalty of so and so route, instead of the employee having to know the entry and all the airlines and reprice the PNR or all of that, the AI will instantly give the answer because it is inside the booking already. And this has applications both for the airline customer service side and the travel agency consultant. So actually, when we see the full adoption of AI, which is already very fast now, it will reduce the need for training, and even lesser trained, I would say not say non-trained, but lesser trained staff can also come into the workforce, and it will improve our talent issues that we have today.
Just to add to it, so example, you are saying about the technology part and AI, how we are adapting and all that. So we have been working with our technology team and all that, where it's been an AI which has been built for the our own custom your own executives who are there and all those stuff. So it's been built that if you go and check anything, so it will reply as per Akbar Travels, like what are the service fees and everything. So when you're talking about training and all those stuff, earlier you have to spend like 10 days for training and all those stuff. So today what we have built is something like you have an AI, it's powered only for Akbar Travels, which would be having everything related to Akbar Travels. Like if you say that where are the branches, what it is there, okay, what are the service fees, okay, and cancellation charges, it would be predominantly will put your service fees and everything, and then it can deliver to you. So where you have actually get rid of those trainings, every time you have an chat GPT which has been built for you, you can go and you can check everything, it reverts on that. So it's really important for that.
Sounds
Yeah.
really promising, honestly. Coming towards the last question. We are anyway a little short on time. Uh, what is the one focus area the travel trade should prioritize to stay relevant going forward? We'll start with you, Mr. Rishabh.
I think there are quite a few actually. One focus point to stay relevant, I would say obviously you have to be in line with technology. I mean, in today's times, I was at a summit a couple of months ago, and there was a speaker on the stage, and I think one line that hit me. What he said was, "My father's here." So I mean, he said that maybe he started 29 years ago, and technology was there even at that time, right? But maybe if you did not latch on to those opportunities that time, okay, they would get a second chance. Okay, I think we will not get that second chance today. Okay, if we miss out on opportunity, if we miss out on a wave, on a technology wave,
It's
I
very
think,
fast at this point
yeah,
of
it's
time.
so fast that we'll be left behind in such a way that we will not be able to cope up. So I think I would say technology in any form, okay, be it automation, AI, etc., the way you can enhance it and use it in your daily processes, I think that is something that's extremely important.
Upskilling,
Yeah.
basically, especially in
Yes.
technology.
Yes.
Mr. Salil?
Um, my comment there would be becoming mobile first. You know, a lot of people in the last say 7 8 years used to say digital first, but now with the next buyer is going to be Gen Z and Gen Alpha, and it has to be mobile first. And today, if you look at the mobile solutions of most travel providers, barring a few who are leading, apart from that, it is frustrating, okay, because they've simply adopted the the desktop website onto mobile. So it'll just say m dot whatever, but it's not built for mobile. You know, if you start thinking mobile first, it's a different approach altogether. So if the question is to stay relevant, then you have to think of what the future buyer is, or what they're trying to do, how they're trying to buy, and it has to be. Uh, it's a trait of millennials that all big purchases, big ticket purchases, have to happen on desktop, right? But for Gen Z, they're comfortable doing big ticket purchases on mobile, and Gen Alpha will maybe buy inside Instagram. So uh, maybe,
Through DMs.
yeah. So mobile first has to be, and it's scaringly or dangerously less of it that I see today. So that has to change.
I mean, I can again vouch for it because I would be writing my documents or everything. I would be editing that on my phone itself. Mr. Hussain,
I think what's really working for a travel company is trust and persistence and a lot of consistency, right, in the delivery that we've already been doing. So, on an average, most travel agencies would have 200 to 300 customers who are customers who you've been dealing with since many years. And that trust goes a long way. I think that you've already earned. And that trust will take you a long way if you have consistency and persistence. And obviously, you need to move with times, you need to move with technology. We've already discussed that. All of that is a given. You need that, plus, you need to be able to retain trust. I think it's very important that, I as a traveler, I've given this guy my application form for visa. I've told him that my kid's traveling, make sure he reaches this destination. So there's a lot of trust which is already existing between that relationship that all of us have. And tech approach should be taken to enable that, but at the same time, don't break the trust. I think it's very, very important to retain customers, and then to attract new customers, you can use technology, you can take testimonials, you can do basic stuff to be able to attract new customers on banking on the trust that you already have. So according to me, I think trust is the game, and that is very, very critical.
Mr. Jitesh.
So I think one is like basically for travel agents, which is very important. It is like after sales service, which is any technology is not able to give it after sales service. Like example, rightly said, what happened with Indigo, what happened like 2 days back with Pune Highway. It was basically it was jam packed. Like it is there where the travel agents come in place where they say that okay, hey buddy, I'm there for you. I can manage everything for you. So that is very important. After sales service is very important. And again, the second thing is like the kind of demand we have, the kind of growth we have, everyone has to get into the technology to support that demand. So technology is very important, because either or else you're not able to support that. Because then it is like today, I think like you can say 15 years back, there were expertise. Like there was one who would be a Hajj Umrah specialist, there would be one only for holidays, there would be only for flights. In today's age, because of technology, and if you will see, all the OTAs are like one-stop shop. Like, hey, you, if you come to me, I can give you everything. You don't have to wait, or don't have to go to another shop or something. It is like one-stop shop because of technology. So after sales service and being like catering everything, you have to sell everything like ancillaries and all those stuff. Everything has to be sold, because earlier also, if you'll see, you can say 10 years back, Sanil can say that, like airlines would come and talk about like load factors, like every time it would be load factor and all that. I don't think any airline today come and talk about load factor. It is more of like what you're going to sell, ancillary products, how you're going to sell your seats and all those stuff. So it, I think these are the three things which I feel it is very important for a travel agent.
Absolutely. And on that note, we would open the floor for questions. If anyone has any question.
Hello. Yeah. Hi, this is Gaurav from Vivis. I run a travel company based out of Bangalore. I have a background of tech, and I have a question around DIY travelers with information overload, uh, and Gen Zs and Gen Alpha being the next generation of customers who are tech enabled by birth, you can say, unlike people in their 35 and 40s. So, how do you look at this DIY trend? Uh, and how do you plan to ride this wave? First question. And then the second thing is, I think travel agents are also solving for broken infrastructure around support. Let's say contacting an airline directly is difficult. Now, if AI enables airline to really talk to the customer as very soon and resolve cancellation, refunds, automate the pipeline, how does it like look like? How are you guys planning for that? Yeah, I think Hussein, you can take this one. Yeah.
So I think technology is the way forward, right? And we all have been talking about it. And Gen Zs and Gen Alphas are born with a tablet right in their face, rather than nursery rhymes that we used to listen to in our childhood. So obviously they will be more inclined to use technology, and to enable that, we as Tripjack, we believe that we are a technology company in the business of travel. And how do we work with our partners? How do we help them, empower them to be able to cater to those travelers of tomorrow? That's the way we see it, and we are investing extremely heavily. We have a tech team of about 150, 180 people in TripJack alone who works only for our travel partners for our industry. And we see that trend. So we experimented a few stuff around WhatsApp. We've created a AI bot on WhatsApp, which we plan to give to travel agencies to be able to consume that interface to their travelers of tomorrow. So there could be various other ways of doing it. And I think what needs is basically to move in that direction of tech. Of to get to that customer, we need to create that ability to the travel agent to be able to service him with those tools. If we don't have those tools, we are going to lose those customers, because there is a segment of customer who will go online, who's already gone online, and further digitization, as it happens, those customers we might lose. So how to retain those customers is the only way to do it is through empowerment. You mentioned you're a tech company yourself. I'm sure you have a lot of ideas. We have content, and we are trying to streamline that content through our technology. We are trying to, and there's so much of content, to be honest. Like Salil was mentioning, GDSs ke pehle, everything used to come through GDSs. Now it's through NDC, it's through direct, it's through various different channels. To standardize that content itself is a very big problem that we are solving already. We've created our APIs, which you can consume in your tech platforms as well, and you can consume our API to be able to distribute that. There could be other things, like you mentioned about calling hotels. Rishabh covered. I think calling airlines is something which you asked. I think there's a lot of AI which is already working for us in that direction. 80% of our calls to call centers are happening actually already on AI. So there's a lot of intelligence which is sitting on content and aggregators like us. We are happy to expose that relationship is already existing between us. We are going to be very transparent and going to help our community be able to retain and grow those customers of tomorrow. That's what my promise is to you.
Thank you. Mr.
Just
Salil,
adding on to the first part of your question where you said about DIY travelers, I think in our industry there's a very great space given to EQ over IQ. Okay, and because I understand that there's a lot of information that comes through, from places where they can make their own itineraries from start to end, etc., etc. But eventually, I think there can never be any substitute for experience. If you as a travel company have that experience of how many ever years that you have, and you can actually fine tune and make that particular trip better for your customer, you might know a few nitty-gritties that maybe an AI bot would not know, right? And I think for DIY travelers, for Gen Z travelers, I feel for every trip that they are going for today, they are looking for that X factor. Okay, what is it that is going to make them say, "Wow, maza aa gaya"? I think that is experiences. You have to probably curate those kind of experiences. So eventually, they will have to come back to you for help.
Yeah, I just want to like reciprocate here that like currently Gen Zs are in that phase where they are where they're not willing to spend for convenience,
Yeah.
right? And they also have a lot of time to travel. Like people are taking like longer leaves. Initially, people in their 35 or 30 like 40s will not ask for 10 days of leave, 20 days of leave, right?
Right.
They go to Philippines for 20 days. I'll go there. I know there it's a 5-day itinerary. I'll take 7 days and do some offbeat experiences.
Right.
So I think that is something that will unfold as the Gen Zs have spending capacity going forward in the
Yeah.
future, and how will they buy for convenience or not?
It is. I think this is what we are seeing right now is the evolution of our industry. Okay, as we speak, there have been different kinds of travelers before Gen Z. There will be different kinds of travelers after Gen Z. Uh, I think we have to. All we need to do is adapt. Get when you get to that, I think you'll have your answer.
And here just the many times when you're saying Gen Zs and Gen Alphas, like I know Sen, yaar, we are यार वो बुढ़ा नहीं है यार, like we are feel just to add to your question, I can say is like bro, so we are into this golden era of travel, okay, and when it comes about technology and all that, you're a tech guy and all that, so it is basically uh, when and client is there, he would be going to a particular airline and all that, but you are a B2B agent. For him it is like it's a one stop shop. He don't have to actually go like to book every airline to do a cancellation and all those stuff, and the kind of APIs like we are providing you, so whatever it is coming through airline, it is being given to you and you have all the access to it. So it is for you, the it is basically for Gen Z's also, it is less of time consuming. Okay, they don't have to go to a particular airline on the website and all that. Okay, it comes to you and everything, you are enabled with everything, so you can actually win the game easily.
All right. Thank you
Thank you.
so much. Thank you so much for this amazing discussion,
Thank you.
discussing everything surrounding Gen Zs, Gen Alphas, the riding the AI wave, how travel trade can do that. And this is a wrap on OTM Forum. We'll just come ahead for a little photo op. And thank you so much, gentlemen. Thank you. Thank you.